Hello friends, this is Coldrun. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, where we're here in Old Charlian. Now, I thought I was recording, and I was not recording, but I luckily caught this before it went too long. So, I basically just picked up the quest, the Crystal from Beyond in Old Charlian. And I guess we're not in Old Charlian, we're in Labyrinthos. We picked up the quest from Old Charlian to start the raid series. All that happened so far is this little Lalafell Nemgigi, just asked me to come over to help with something for Professor Claudian. So we got Nemgigi, Rusino, and Claudian. Rusino. As I live and breathe, it really is you. I assume Nemgigi was simply attempting to pull one over on me, as it were. So Nemgigi is a bit of a, not necessarily a trickster, but Nemgigi is has outlandish thoughts at times. Perhaps I should pay more heed to her wild claims. Nemgigi. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate any insight you can provide on the matter of this crystal. Professor Claudien will share the particulars with you. Alright, so this is Professor Claudien who's heading up whatever we're about to do. Greetings, Kukushu, and welcome to my humble laboratory. I am sure Nemgigi has already told you plenty about us, but allow me to introduce myself personally. I am Claudien, leader of this little research collective. I must admit, I've been nervous about this meeting ever since Nemgigi set out to find you. For a researcher in my field, there is no greater honor than to meet the first woman in history to traverse the ethereal sea and return to tell the tale. So, right, because Claudien, like, works with the ethereal sea, works with, like, the Aisha scope, which is where we are now, I think. Or, I guess we're not... Is that where we are now? Or I don't know if that's where we are now, but we're in Aporia, but he at least works with the Aisha scope. The professor speaks often Nemgigi. The professor speaks often and at length of your deeds, but he has no small number of achievements to his own name. He has peered deeper into the ethereal sea than any other in Charlian, and the breadth of his knowledge is peerless. Claudien peerless, perhaps, but for a single woman. We must seize this precious opportunity to learn what we can from her, and perhaps crack the conundrum that has stumped the three of us for moons. Sorry, itchy nose. So, something has been puzzling you. It was we who peered into the fathomless sea from the Anti-Tower in the Dravanian hinterlands. There we spoke with Heidelin and learned the fate that would befall this star the final days. Claudien, you are a big cheese. You are kind of a big deal. Soon thereafter, all research was moved to Labyrinthos, and through the Aisha-scope, I'll call it, did we continue our vigil. As impressive a work as the device is, however, it can glimpse but a fraction of the sea's infinite depths. Which brings us to the matter at hand. Not long after the Exodus was declared, we recovered an unusual crystal shard during a routine observation. It appeared before us suddenly as if propelled to the surface by some unknown force. Interesting. We found that it possessed an ethereal density that exceeds that of normal crystals by an order of magnitude, and its shape resembles nothing which occurs in the natural world. It was made, not formed. Unfortunately, that was the extent of the information we could glean before we were forced to turn our focus toward the crystal, toward the Exodus. The crystal was very nearly forgotten amidst the sudden upheaval. But thanks to the efforts of a certain someone, that crisis is now behind us. You're quite welcome. And we are free to resume our research. Thus did we decide to seek you out, the dauntless adventurer who delved into the unknown and beheld its innermost secrets. And now we would have you see for yourself. Alright, let's take a look at this super dense crystal. Is this going to be one of those collectible crystals, like the Azem crystal and that sort of thing? Here's the crystal in question. Like, maybe it's the Elidibus crystal. If it resembles aught you have encountered before, even by the smallest degree, please say so. There we go. Yep. I mean, I don't know whose it is yet. I'm guessing it's Elidibus's, but it's at the very least one of those crystals. Memory abides within this crystal, or I know of someone who bears a similar crystal. Let's go with memory abides within this crystal. As I thought, you do know what it is. Please tell me everything. Mm-hmm. So, as far as what I know from about this raid series, I know that it... Oh, never mind. I'll address that in a sec. Claudian, I see. The Asians use these to transfer their memories to new vessels. Fascinating indeed. It was plain that this crystal was somehow special, but this revelation surpasses even my considerable expectations. MGG. Similar artifacts have appeared throughout the ages, memories of martial techniques manifested as crystalline shards on the battlefield, or storied stones passed from master to student. Yeah, I have like an assortment of them for each job. A comparison between said artifacts and this crystal may prove a fruitful first step in unveiling its true nature. What do you think, Professor? Asian memories, windows through which we can gaze upon the convocation of 14. Yeah, it sounds like Claudian wants to jump into the deep end of the research. Unlike the crystal in Kukushu's story, this one does not bear the mark of the convocation. I wasn't sure if I wasn't looking closely enough, but yeah, there's no little constellation thing on it. Who then could these memories belong to? And more importantly, why were they stored in this particular shard? More importantly still, why was it set adrift on the ethereal sea? So Claudian kind of gets into his own head a little bit. Quite often. This doesn't seem like it's unusual. NemGG. Professor, or Claudian. Yeah, she's annoyed. Claudian, yes? NemGG. I'm well aware that contemplation is the key to breakthrough, but there is propriety to consider. We have a guest, one you invited explicitly. Must we do this every time? You about to get pissed? No, you're just absent-minded. Claudian, what? Yes, of course, our guest. Terribly sorry, I do so easily find myself unmoored by the tides of rumination. Me too, but usually instead of rumination, it's literally nothing. Perhaps a more engaging use of your time with us would be for you to take up that crystal. If indeed there are memories stored within, they may reveal themselves to you upon contact. I think that's a very good idea. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be a terrible idea. Faint message, faint voice. Anyone, message, come. Pandaemonium, please. Face is grave threat. Star, in danger. Pandaemonium. Pandemonium. So there's a couple things I'll do right now. I'm pulling up comments because I want to make sure I get their name right. Okay, yes. So here's what I know about Pandaemonium, about the raids rather. I know that they were called Pandaemonium. Like I saw I don't know what it was. I think it was when the expansion was first announced. Like I remember seeing that slide that showed like Pandaemonium and then the Asian face or the Asian mask. What else? I know from my Chloe log from the book of the Wondrous Tales that Asphodelos, I think, is one of the ones because I saw that come up. So I think that's that. That's the extent of what I know about Pandaemonium. I also remember it being... I remember it first came up as the final dungeon in Final Fantasy II when I played that. A really tough one, a brutally tough dungeon in Final Fantasy II in hell, basically. And I remember it in Final Fantasy IX as well. So, it's back. Claudian. Oh, and the reason I wanted to check was because I think it was Grandmaster Sylvest was in the comments mentioned that, yeah, that this was Pandaemonium, because I'd forgotten about the name of it, but yeah, they mentioned that this was Pandaemonium. Claudian, that expression does not bode well. What did you see? Didn't really see anything. I heard a voice. I heard a nod. Pandaemonium is not a word I've heard before. If my knowledge of the ancient tongue serves me, it means all demons. Yes. Not a name that inspires optimism, all things considered. Demons, the term demon didn't have any connotation previously, did it? Because in the current present-day world of Final Fantasy XIV, demons just refers to, like, basically void sent from the 13th, but this seems like this is Pandaemonium. It sounds like precedes the Sundering. In the event that another shattering cataclysm is in fact bearing down upon us, I would have the aforementioned examples of crystallized memory to hand. Nemgigi, Rusino, I entrust their procurement to you. If there are more memories to be extracted from this crystal, we will find them. As for you, Kukushu, there is a warning a person I would have you seek, the one who has delivered so dire a warning. There's a person I would have you seek who has delivered so dire a warning. Like, someone prophesied this? Your story tells us that this crystal could very well have been made by one of the ancients. If that is the case, then discerning the nature of this pandemonium would require a trip far into the past, to an era before the Sundering, so I'm heading back to Elpis. I know of only one individual capable of such a feat, the very hero who traversed time to prevent the world's doom. Can I still go back there in the canon of the game? I guess there's nothing that stops me from doing it. For some reason, I thought that when we warped back here, that we were out of Elpis for good, and that we'd only go back, like, for, like, game mechanics reasons. Not canonically, but maybe not. I guess not. I had no reason to think that. I must confess, the tales people tell of your adventures beggar belief, and their veracity has been a subject of much debate among my peers. After today's meeting, however, there can be no doubt in my mind that every incredible exploit is fact. That's a bold statement. So I ask you now, return to the past. Find out what and where Pandaemonium is, and if we need be concerned by this message. Also, because I've heard the term Asphodelos from that thing, but isn't Asphodelos also part of the Elysian Fields? Like, or like isn't one of the Greek afterlife areas, like the Fields of Asphodelos, something like that? I also remember, because that was a part of Hades. Like, that was one of the, that was like it used to be all full of flowers and life, but now it's burning in the game Hades. Thank you. For the time being, you should keep the crystal in your possession. I do not think you have seen the last of its memories, and more may be drawn out as the plot requires, or as you approach their source. Safe travels, and may we meet again soon to share our findings. Alright, I'm heading back to the past. Journey to the ocular and approach the portal. Okay, so we're doing this canonically. We're not just fast traveling there. Gotcha. So we're back on the first. We're in the ocular. Faint voice. If he receives this message. So this is giving us the power. Could we have already walked through here, or is this crystal in particular giving us the power to go back there? Kukushu seems... Come, Pandaemonium, quickly. Because Kukushu seems like... Not hesitant exactly, but she seems a bit surprised that she can go through this, or like it seems like a big deal at least. That Elpis sky. Nice animation on like the woozy waking up face. But where in Elpis are, or not where, but when in Elpis are we? Ugh. Hello. Confused boy. Could it be? This is so. I said before when I heard the voice that I was surprised that Elidibus's frame was larger, but he's still basically. It says confused boy, so I'm still going to guess this is Elidibus. Could it be? How do you know me? Confused boy. Oh, you probably thought I was Azem. No, of course not. Apologies, but for the briefest moment I thought you to be a dear friend of mine. I realize now that such a notion is preposterous. She told me a falling star would appear before me, and I suppose you must be it. Did Vana tell you this? It must be Vana. Truth be told, I did not expect this expression to be so literal. Nice to meet you. Again. Assuming you... I mean, I could be making a fool of myself, but it really seemed like you're... It really seems like you're Elidibus. Themis. Well, Elidibus was the title. Never mind, this could still be Elidibus. Apologies for not introducing myself properly. My name is Themis. As you can see by my bare face, I am not one of Elpis's observers. Rather, I can come here on an assignment which has been more or less routine up until this very moment. You certainly do know how to make an entrance. I must wonder what brought you here, for it is plain you do not belong here, or any place I know for that matter. I'm Ozem's familiar. I'm also here on an assignment. I think I want to avoid, because we still have to lay kind of low right now, because no one aside from Vana remembers us, and we don't want to start any kind of weird trains of time. Let's say I'm also here on an assignment. Are you here to investigate Pandaemonium, perchance? It would not surprise me should we share a purpose. If so, we may be able to help one another. But first, might I trouble you to explain how you came to collide with my skull? This is going to be a whole big time loop, isn't it? Like, you're going to... No, it's not going to. I was thinking, like, at the end of... Wait. I see. I believe that dispels any major... Wait, what happened? I feel like I missed something just there. I was thinking about something else. Might I trouble you to explain how you came to collide with my skull? No, I just... There, okay. I see. I was thinking, like... So we saw that glimpse of someone who I assume is Themis, but maybe not. Back at the end of the 6.0, at the little epilogue, the tail end thing, saying, like, we got a prophecy, and we shall hunt the beast. No, maybe Themis did. I was thinking, did Themis, like, send something to me directly, but not necessarily. Anyway, I see. I believe that dispels any major doubts I had concerning your intentions. Apologies for being so intrusive, but you must understand this is an uncommon occurrence. I shall pry no further, for I am well aware that we all have secrets we must keep. However, if I may, I would very much like to take a look at this crystal of yours. I think that's fair. No? Kakushu's really hesitant. I guess it's... sus, I guess? Fascinating. While I cannot say much as to what it contains, it is clear there are memories stirring within. Memories that speak of something gravely amiss in Pandaemonium. So you're going to tell me what Pandaemonium actually... Is it like a prison for bad Asians or something? Or for bad Etherians? The facility extends beneath Elpis and is overseen by the words of La Habrea. It houses those creations that are highly valued as research subjects and highly dangerous to the star. Naturally, it is strictly guarded and under constant surveillance. Naturally. So will we have to Mission Impossible our way in, or can we just go walk in? Several days ago, however, an unnatural shift in the flow of its surrounding ether was detected. Soon thereafter, all communications from Pandaemonium ceased. I am here as a representative of an organization that works directly with the Convocation, and I have been tasked with investigating this incident. So you're going to be my main partner on this, it sounds like. Maybe even more than back in the present day. Now that there is some measure of transparency between us, might I offer a suggestion as to what we should do next? Is it going to be queue up for the first trial? Okay. During the course of your investigation, you may discover valuable artifacts. These can be exchanged for equipment by speaking with Mileni and Inaporia or Jole in Radzat Han. Okay. Excellent. Just out of curiosity, any new quests pop up here aside from this? No. Okay. Themis. Where familiars dare, Themis is eager to commence the investigation into Pandaemonium, and so am I. I am excited for the raid and seeing what the bosses are like. Now then, my proposal is a simple one. Let us journey to Pandaemonium together. Our destination is the same, and I suspect the arrangement would work to our mutual benefit. Besides, I should have no trouble gaining us both access. I do hope you agree. I would be loath to part ways from the falling star I had been waiting so long for. That's kind of romantic. Not really, but, you know. Originally, I had planned to conduct my investigation with the friend I had mentioned earlier. She had also noticed the anomaly near Pandaemonium, so it only seemed natural we should investigate it together. I'll bet this is not Vana. I'll bet this is someone different from Vana, actually. However, she eventually decided it would be unwise for us both to go. If two members of our organization were seen poking our heads about restricted facilities, it could raise questions, you see. I mean, it could also be Gaia. It could be any number of people. I decided to go alone, but she left me with these words. Fear not, for in my absence a star shall fall before you. While I could not comprehend her meaning at the time, I believe now I understand. She does have a way of being right about these things. You seem like a good person, Themis. Even so, her hints of what to come are generally more cryptic. I suppose I should have kept my gaze to the heavens. Suffice it to say, I am grateful for your presence either way. As for the matter at hand, we must first gain permission from the words of La Habrea for entry into Pandaemonium. There ought to be a speaker waiting at Ananorasis. Look at this place, the pink and blue sky. It's not alien in the same way that something like Ilmeg is, or certainly not Ultima Thule, but God, is this a pretty zone. Themis. I sent a request for permission before setting forth to Elpis. With luck, we shall not be waiting long. Words of La Habrea speaker. Words of La Habrea has got to be, is that like a research arm, isn't it? You're not actually La Habrea. No, you're not. I don't think you are. Words of La Habrea speaker. What a fascinating etheric signature. In accordance with the Convocation's request, the two of you have been granted leave to observe Pandaemonium. I shall register your ether for the records. From this point on, you may freely come and go from Pandaemonium as you please. Thank you, Speaker. Themis, now that was a painless process. I take this as a sign we were meant to conduct our investigations together. Sure. Words of La Habrea speaker. Of course, while you may have been permitted entry to the facility, the specimens housed must be handled with the utmost care. You are to heed the warder's instructions at all times. I love that, like, what? Like cocked head dog hearing something confusing look that Kakushu gets sometimes. Themis, those who conduct their work within Pandaemonium are called warders for their role with respect to the creatures within, so like prison guard sort of things. But like also like zookeepers, like it indicates like both imprisoning and trying to treat them. I mean, it implies that they're taking care of a ward, both in terms of they have responsibility over it, like power over it, and responsibility for it. Word speaker. Generally, creations that pose a threat to the safety of the star must be undone. However, the words of La Habrea has deemed certain such creations as worthy of further study, interring them within the facility. Those who spend their days in Pandaemonium are not merely researchers. They must work tirelessly to ensure that none of their subjects slip their shackles. Themis, for all intents and purposes, the place is a dungeon, or a raid. Perhaps such a comparison arouses frightful imagery, but Pandaemonium is a frightful place. I mean, the name alone gave it away. Speaker. I know not the purpose of your investigation, but if you discover aught that merits a report, pray do so with utmost haste. Master La Habrea shall guide us upon the proper course of action from there. I don't trust that to be the case. Yo, really? Like, are you... awkward. Themis. Then I take it that means you have detected nothing amiss of late. I thought you said there was problems brewing below. Speaker. The warders have reported nothing that would cause alarm. Minor fluctuations in ether have been observed, but surely Master La Habrea would have acted if there was anything worth worrying about. Yeah, I am about as convinced as Themis is. I see. It appears La Habrea is kept well abreast of the goings-on here, then. Speaker. I hope I am not overstepping my bounds by asking, but you seem to be quite familiar with Master La Habrea. Do you know him? Know him? We've met. We'll leave it at that. Oh, the stories I could tell you. That a mere familiar would have had the honor to meet Master La Habrea. He is not known to easily afford others his time, so you must be extraordinary indeed to be granted even a moment of it. That doesn't surprise me. Regardless, while I doubt I need to tell you this, he is of the convocation. Take care that your actions do not hinder his work. Though at this point, we have to assume he's on the up and up. Or like any... because he hasn't been tempered yet, but he hasn't done any of that stuff, so... And this is even assuming it's still the same La Habrea. Because maybe the La Habrea we're talking about... well, even in that case, it would be still at least a piece of that same La Habrea, wouldn't it? Not necessarily. No, it wouldn't. I don't know. Themis, and with that, we are free to make our way to Pandaemonium. The naos that will take us there is on the eastern bank of Lethe. Of course it is. Of course, to get to Pandaemonium, we have to cross the Lethe. Let us delay no further. Themis. I had to contain my surprise for the sake of appearances, but is it true that you two have met La Habrea in the flesh? I find you more fascinating by the moment. Still, I shall refrain from asking too many questions. Secrets will make our journey all the more intriguing. We shall come to know each other in time, I wager. Are you sus? Are you being sus? Probably not. Or why else would fate have orchestrated our meeting? In any case, let us be off. Truth be told, this will be my first time beholding the fabled Pandaemonium with my own eyes. Here's to a new adventure, eh? Here's to a new adventure. Big Dunscaith vibes right here. Big Dunscaith vibes, but more torture than Tim Burton. Like more I don't know, more Hellraiser than Tim Burton. Themis. It is as much as I feared. The speaker seemed in such high spirits that for a moment I thought the ethereal irregularity not nearly so grave a portent as I had imagined. Alas, 'twas a fleeting and vain hope. To gaze upon this complex network of chains and wards, the untrained eye might not sense anything awry. No effort has been spared in making this place impenetrable. They got Hydra guards. Is there something in there? This is kind of... this is pretty horrifying. Yeah, this is very Hellraiser. Even the finest of masterworks is not without its flaws, however. Someone or something is tampering with the protections. It is working from within, eroding them from the inside out. Some kind of super max prisoner is working its mojo. Fear not, there is no immediate danger. I reinforced what protections I could the moment we arrived. This will not put an end to whatever is occurring, but it shall at least serve to slow its progress. One small victory, though the road ahead of us is yet long. Yes, powerful forces are at work here. Sounds like it. So those are like, yeah, those are a whole bunch of like Hydra statues as the thing we're going to fight a Hydra. Is the thing that's in there scared of Hydras, and so maybe that's why it's guarding, like scarecrows? The silence in the air speaks volumes. While I did not expect a bustling facility, I see not a single warder. That's a good point. Our first course of action should be to seek one out, wherever they may be. However, there is something you must know. Okay? The magic I wove upon entering requires my constant awareness. That is to say, if we are forced to fight, I cannot risk joining you in battle. Yeah, that's as good a reason as any. I like it. Should I lose focus, Pandaemonium's protections will rapidly crumble before the force assailing them. Yeah, understandable. No worries, you're all good. Were there another way, I would gladly choose it, but let us at least be grateful that neither of us is here alone, trapped in hopeless circumstances. No, you are not alone. If we should fail to find a peaceable solution, then I hope I can rely on your strength to see us through. Oh, that deserved a fist punch. Of course you have my promise. This request doesn't come as a surprise, to be honest. You have my promise. Hand punch? No hand punch. Shocking. Thank you for offering your help so willingly. If weapons are drawn, I hope to be able to lend at least a touch of magical support. I could see Themis being like a cutscene character, like sort of like Gaia was in the Omega, I don't know. I think it's certainly like Gaia was. Anyway, creation magics do have their uses in that regard. I had it in mind to use your ether as basis for illusory allies that will fight at your side. Perhaps 7 shall do. Not exactly an army, but by the looks of you, a formidable band nonetheless. Thank you for your... I love that they're working in like Duty Finder to this. Then so shall it be. Now what I wonder awaits us in Pandaemonium's pitiless halls. Here we go. Unlock. Unlock title screen. Asphodelos. Or Asphodelos, I'm not sure which it is. The first circle. Again, that sort of hell theme. Pandaemonium. Crossing the Lethe to get to it. Asphodelos. Asphodelos. Okay. Not okay. I have not met my level. I have not, I don't have enough, enough gear. I'm back. And I used Gil. It was super effective. And I just bought a bunch of gear item level 580 stuff on the market board. And now I look like... I don't know. I look like a villain in an anime about, like, the Demon King. But not a major, not the main villain. I look like, I don't know, like the second season villain in like a 6-season show. Like, I don't know, one of his loyal generals or something. Anyway, let's queue up and we'll see what awaits us. I dig the percussion here, whatever that is. That like clappy sound, is that an 808? I don't know instruments, but like I am digging the music as I just wait here. Here we go. Asphodelos, the first circle, the world unsundered. Again, I have read up nothing on this, so I hope you will forgive me when I mess up every single frigging mechanic. Are we getting a Hydra boss, or is that just the statuary? I'll save them. I must. This appears to be one of the warders we seek, but I'm afraid he's in no state to answer question. Perhaps you can bring him to his senses. So we're fighting not a prisoner first, but one of the warders. Interesting. Thank you, Themis, for the duty roulette. Which is, I think what he's summoning. Yes, it is. I love that. I love that they started doing that. It's not all the time, but when it... Oh, I thought Americ was... Warder of the Condemned Erichthonios. Look at all those. That chain thematic. I thought Americ was here, but it's actually... It's a player cosplaying as Americ. I thought it was like an NPC party for a second. I must save them, but first. Okay. We're watching closely. Jailer's Flail. Is that a tank buster? Oh, no, it's on the right side. Let me get to the left side. I probably don't want to... Yeah, yep. Got it. Gotcha. Jailer's Flail. Yep. Again, I'm not going to be doing any sorts of rotations done in any effective way. I'm just worried about hitting my buttons while we're looking at what attacks are. Warder's Wrath, is this just AoE? Yeah, Warder's Wrath is AoE. That's a good time for Magic Barrier. Pitiless Flail, so if you get that, get away from other players and don't keep moving. Gotcha. Dragon Death Zone changed. Jailer's Flail again. What's different about it this time? I'm not sure. Be assailed by ice and flame and temper, so you feel an overwhelming cold. So I have cold on me. Oh, I probably want to get to the heat, maybe? Because it'll be like 1 cold and 2 hot. Now I have 1 hot. I don't know what I want now. Now I have cold. I need 1 hot. Yeah, I think we got it. Okay, good. Nice job, Coal Run. I'm trying to praise myself more instead of just yelling at myself when I inevitably fuck up. Not praise myself, just acknowledge when, like, yeah, like, I could have messed it up and I didn't. Good job. Shining Cells, you leave me no choice. I see a circle coming in. Red, blue, red, blue. I cannot allow you to run free. So there's a mechanic of being stopped in a place. I'll go here. I really have no idea where I'm supposed to be. Ether chain. Now, how did I know what was... How did we know what to start with? I just got lucky there that I started on the right color. I will lock you away forever. Everyone's going red. Why? Is it where his foot is? Blue now. I don't know how they're seeing the colors. The lives of my colleagues are at stake. Slam shut. Why are the lives of your colleagues at stake? I mean, I know why they're at stake, but why do you think killing us is the way to protect them? Should it cost me my life, I will triumph. We just can't do double fire, I think, this time. Oh, no, no, no! I see, it's the bottom one. It's not just which has more. Gotcha. I understand now. I was wrong before. I thought it was about which had more stacks of it, but I just got lucky last time. In this, it was actually about the whatever's on the bottom. Your foot's in red, so is blue safe. Maybe that's what that means, that blue is safe because your left foot is in red? No, that doesn't... It's not clear enough. That can't be it. Red next. I don't know. Is there like a color around you that shows what's safe or what's dangerous? Ether flail. It's clearly red this time again because everyone's in red, but I don't know why. It's just not clicking for me. Well, we beat it. Very cool, boss. I like how they stuck with that aesthetic of the chains of the jailer, that whole thing. And I like how they put... I didn't even see until just now. They have, like, the jailer's Ascian mask was on top. Or not Ascian mask, but their Etherian mask was on top. Yeah, it's not a victory pump, because this is clearly not... This is clearly a victim, but still. Themis. That was a thrilling display. And if I may be so vaunting... The warriors I spun from your ether fought even more splendidly than I had anticipated. I suppose they were cut from excellent cloth, after all. They were. We should wait until this man regains his senses. He wears the robes of a warder, and I would be very curious to know what drove him to attack us on sight unseen. As would I. Did I get a player commendation? Boy, that is... They were hard up, or they were just picking randomly. Kukushu, your outfit's terrible. He stirs. No, my outfit's actually not terrible. It takes some... It's certainly different than the Red Mage Classic where I was looking at, but I can always go back to that later. Also, your mask on... The mask on top of the warder was red. The mask on top of the construct you were... I forgot the name already. No. Oh, Erichthonios. Yeah. It's just... That's your name. The mask on top of it was red, whereas your mask is white. That's especially interesting. What came over me? It's coming back. My mind was filled with a storm of desperation, anger. I leapt at you, though I know naught of your intentions. Pray, accept my apologies and my thanks. Had you not knocked some sense back into me, I may have fallen upon someone less capable of defending themselves. Your eyes are awesome. They're fiery red. They're like blood red. I am Erichthonios, a warder of Asphodelos, Pandaemonium's highest layer, and the place we're in now. Themis, one must wonder why you were so desperate to keep us out. What is happening in Pandaemonium? Erichthonios, the creatures interred within Asphodelos have been set free and stalk its halls to no end but violence. Yeah, I figured that. That is not good, to say the least. Well put, Themis. Has this ever happened before? No, never. Each level of Pandaemonium is under the charge of a key ward who keeps strict control over the most So I'm still confused what happened to you. Were you possessed by one of them? Did one of them, like, infect you with its anger and turn you into a jailer monster? Anyway, under the charge of a keyword who keeps strict control over the most minute aspects of their domain. They're selected with great care, and their loyalty to Master La Habrea is absolute. That's not great, but again, this is pre-tempering. We don't necessarily have to suspect Master La Habrea. In fact, I don't suspect him. I trust him in this case. Well, I mostly trust him in this case. Erichthonios, yet something has gone terribly wrong. Try as we might to hold the line, the chaos within is overwhelming. I hardly realized that I had become separated from my colleagues. I remember a chorus of whispers assailing my senses, and afterwards only flashes of rage and fury. The blackness from which I awoke to find that whatever had overcome me was gone. Oh, then blackness. Themis, I see. Your senses may have been muddled by magics that affect the mind. Perhaps the self-same ones that saw you separated from the other warders. Erichthonios, whatever had taken hold of me, thank you for releasing me from its clutches. That you've come here from the surface must mean some word of our plight has reached the outside world. If you know of anything that will help, pray tell. Yeah, we got some memories. Mama. Horror among horrors. So Pandaemonium's protections are indeed being dismantled from within. Themis, by the same individual or individuals that released its captives and set them upon you, no doubt. Such knowledge avails us little, however, if we cannot ascertain their identity. You have a thought. I see it. I see the idea. Themis, was it? You said you worked for an organization under the auspices of the Convocation. Were they to receive word of what has transpired here, what measures would they take? Doubtless they would consider this place to be a lost cause. Pandaemonium's ties to the outside world would be severed, or perhaps it would be wiped from existence entirely. I forgot that they actually have the power to do that. Erichthonios, as I thought, were the creatures to escape into the outside world, there would be untold carnage. The words of La Habrea would never risk that, despite what value the research subjects may hold. All the more reason to work with haste. If we can't expect further help, then it falls upon me to save the others. I'll not leave them behind. Good man. You would go alone. I won't leave the other warders to face certain doom. I know they fight for survival even now. They wouldn't abandon their duty. They would see the creatures return to their cells at all costs. And so I must do the same. Themis, I know the request I'm about to make of you is a monumental one, but please, say not a word of this to the Convocation until I've been given the chance to set things right. We'll help you, or I'll help you, presumably. Themis, forgive my rudeness, Erichthonios, but my decision cannot be swayed by emotion. You would only be consigning yourself to an early death. Strength of resolve cannot win in the face of overwhelming odds. I actually am with Themis on this. I don't think you leave him to try to fight against the monsters there without outside help. Yeah, I think if you have to wipe the place out, you do so, but I hope I don't know, I don't think you keep this secret. That being said, our investigation has only just begun, and we would be remiss to turn back ere we've made an exhaustive survey, so for the time being, there is slightly more than resolve to rely upon. That's a good way to look at it. I like it. Also, I like how my costume's cape forms like little demon wings. Themis, I knew you'd be all too eager to join us. Each moment since you fell from the skies has been more interesting than the last. More and more you remind me of my dear friend. This has got to be Azem, right? Which goes some way toward encouraging me that this matter will not yet reach a satisfactory conclusion. Azem or Vana. I feel like it's got to be one of those two. Erichthonios, so you agree to help? For the moment, our goals align. The protective magics of Pandaemonium yet hold, so for the moment, time is in our favor. Let us proceed upon the course you and Kukushu have set us upon. Oh, little old me. Themis and Kukushu, yes? Thank you. The warders owe you a great debt already. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We shall be glad to have someone familiar with Pandaemonium's halls by our side. A party of 3 is ever so much more entertaining than a pair of 2. Like I'm chopped liver. Now let us turn our attention to rescuing your colleagues. Perhaps it would be wise to approach the gates in case any have followed you out. Sure. I love this piano rendition of the piece. The music here is, it's nothing that's like a banger. It's not Eden 8 levels of music. Then again, the Eden 8 soundtrack is among my favorite pieces of music of all time. So that's not a fair bar. But there's nothing that's like a straight up banger so far, but there's some great mood music that they've been delivering so far here. So this is the next day, and I'm ready to continue with the raids. Themis. Seems our investigation will be quite the ordeal after all. Still, I find it hard to believe that La Habrea knows naught of what has transpired here. Whoever the mastermind of this crisis is, they do not lack for power and cunning. I feel like La Habrea he's definitely being set up as the main villain here, as the mastermind. I just don't know if he's a red herring yet. Erichthonios. Under the surface. Erichthonios is peering into the depths of Pandaemonium. Not a sound can be heard from within, which means neither creature nor warder has made it this far. We should begin forming a plan to save them at once. Forgive me if I misunderstand, but do you mean to rescue the warders and creations both? I mean, yeah, he's dedicated to his duty. Naturally, although they may be dangerous, they're valuable research subjects. I wouldn't see our labor, our untold hours of study go to waste. I dare say La Habrea would smile to hear you say such a thing. That is, if we had cause to report this incident to him. I also am... No, I'm not... I wonder if I should be skeptical of this stranger of Themios. Maybe. Themis. Smile. I'm not sure his face is capable of such warmth. That's what it sounds like. Ah, so you have met him before? I was under the impression he rarely visited Pandaemonium. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Habrea's predecessor is in the... Wait, sorry, Oh, okay. I just tripped myself up. I have, yes. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. That is to say, La Habrea's predecessor in the position of Chief Key Ward. My mentor, I don't know why this is true. My mentor was the previous head of this facility. I don't know who the current head of this facility is. Is it Erichthonios? I don't think so. So his mentor, Erichthonios' mentor, was the previous head of the facility. La Habrea's predecessor in the position... I guess La Habrea is the Chief Key Ward now? Her name was Athena, and she was a researcher of the words. With the words. It was she who appointed me to this position, in fact. I see. I did not know there was a Chief Key Ward named before La Habrea. Your motivation to save your research subjects is not entirely driven by duty to the words, then. You also wish to preserve the work of your mentor. You have the right of it. I'm lacking in ideas of how to go about that, however. I'm a mere warder and cannot wield interment magics. Interment, like to inter someone, like to lock them up, I think, or to bury them. Ah, but of course I can hardly expect you to be versed in the magics we use here. If you recall, during our battle earlier, I bound you in ethereal shackles. Interment is a more refined and powerful magic based upon the same principles. While both are used to keep our subjects docile, only the key ward of each tier is permitted to use interment. So it's especially restricted and strong kind of chaining. Even if I were allowed, I lack the aptitude to use the spell to any notable effect. Themis. Fascinating. I have some knowledge of these forms of spellcraft, actually. La Habrea himself established their foundation, if I recall. While shackles are meant to bind an object in place for a short time, interment freezes the very space around it for as long as the caster wills. It freezes the space around it. Okay, that makes sense. Why it's so good. Indeed, while the illusory beings you summoned in our fight suggested as much, I see your knowledge of magic is vast. Perhaps you've already mastered the art of interment, and I've been lecturing you like a child all this time. I'm afraid my knowledge ends there. I have not the precise understanding of how the invocations interact with natural laws that would be needed to cast said spells with any consistency. While I consider myself well versed in various magics, I would be ill-advised to assume the duties of Keyward without instruction. That being said, if I were to learn more of interment and its inner workings, perhaps. That makes me sus of Themis even more, but again, I'm probably shouldn't be. While you have order standing in front of you, leave the fighting to me. You two can figure out the rest. Yeah, I got this. Me and my 7 phantoms that you can give me. I dare say we can do just that. Erichthonios, you implied that what prevented you from performing interment was lack of magical capacity. What if I supplemented your power with my own? Would the spell succeed then? I can't say for certain. I've never heard of such a thing being done. I believe it may be our best recourse. That is, of course, assuming you can perform the initial rites and incantations flawlessly. Even the smallest misstep and we would have to start over. You're lending him your power. You needn't worry. I've seen the spells cast so many times that their motions have been burned into my memory. I won't disappoint. Very well. Let us work out the specifics afterwards. Once we do, we can test out our methods on one of the escaped creatures, though I suppose there is the matter of finding one. It would be foolish to rush in blindly, lest we find our... The cat's lurking in the background. I sensed him. I sensed him behind me. Lest we find ourselves surrounded with naught but an untested stratagem at our disposal. Nay, I would prefer to engage a single creature that Kakushu could dispatch on her own if the spell were to go awry. Erichthonios, I agree, and I may have an idea in that regard. I recall seeing the Hippokampos wandering the waterways during my flight. Perhaps it's still there. What's a hippocampus? I'm thinking... It's not a hippopotamus. I'm thinking of hippopotamus. I don't know what a hippocampus is. Few of the subjects housed within Asphodelos are fond of water, and I believe... I guess hippopotamus is like water cow, right? Or water... I mean, water raptor, water murderer is more likely. But, like, it's like... Hippo means water, so I guess that makes sense. I believe we'll be able to engage the beast without fear of unwanted guests. This could be an underwater fight? Then that shall be our first target, or perhaps subject is a better term. Before we commence with the interment magics, the creature should be weakened to a sufficient degree. I believe I can trust you with that task. Yeah, hand punch time. I was so sad when Rack said that in the comments that there was no emote that you can use to do that outside of this cutscenes, because it's so common in the cutscenes. Themis, as dependable as ever. Once you have given it a thorough trouncing, we shall bind this hippocampus with the keyword's magic. Until then, my illusions shall fight by your side. The hippocampus will be alone, but it's a daunting opponent nonetheless. Its magic warps the environment around it, and it will be at home amidst the waterways. Steel yourself for a fight. Okay. Hopefully, Pigeon will be satisfied with the amount of pets he gets before then, and we'll be able to fight without him clawing my arm. Here we go. The second circle. Are we underwater? No, we're not underwater, although we can breathe underwater, but I don't think we are underwater. That's ominous. It's like a Cerberus thing? I can't quite tell. I saw wings, maybe a chimera? Some kind of water chimera? Mythic creation, the Hippokampos. No, it's one head, but it's like head and neck area is separated from its body, or is that its mouth? Ugh. But I'm not worried because Hot Dad is tanking for us, so we're gonna be good. Listen to this music. Murky Depths. Is this, So Murky Depths is the AoE, okay. Doubled Impact. So this is the thing this is with that new mechanic where it's like meant for both tanks to stack. Okay, I don't want to be in front of wherever it's facing, so... Spoken Cataract. Head and body are the odds of doubt that signifies anything good. Let's not get to the direction its head is facing. Yeah. Spoken Cataract. Yep, same thing. This almost has a kind of a Shadow Beast mechanic from the Eden fights. Sewage Deluge. I don't want to be above the sewer grates, probably. No? Never mind. That had nothing to do with that. What's going... Oh, beyond the sewer grates. We do well to get less the creature drown us in its rage. Okay, so we want to stay on these things. So now our space is more limited. Gotcha. Okay. I just have to pick a place and stop there as soon as possible. Predatory Sight. Not sure what Predatory Sight is. I think we want to stack, right? Yeah. The Dorito chips usually mean stack. Let's not get tossed into a death wall. So let's go to a corner. Okay, good. The water has receded. Oh, I'm dying. I don't know what killed me. Maybe I had to get knocked onto the sewer grate sort of thing. So the head that's going to be don't be on that half of the room sort of deal, probably. Like it's going to race across or blast across. Yes. So far the only thing I don't quite understand is what got me in the... All right, let's stay here. Yeah, so far the only thing I don't understand is what got me... Oh, that's a good time actually to use my group defense buff. I don't think I understand. I'm not understanding what killed me actually. Actually, this is a good time to use the group defense buff. Murky Depths is the AoE. Spoken Cataract. Oh shit. I got totally lucky there. I don't know. I see what I was supposed to do. I see, but I didn't see it beforehand. I was just running to stay with others. I'm going to super die, aren't I? I see that head. Let's get over here. Yes. Oh, it feels good to be right. Shockwave. Oh, okay, so you're supposed to... Well, even then I don't know how to avoid any damage. Oh, maybe we're supposed to go so that we get knocked... So we stay along the sewer grates there. Gotcha. Oh, Dorito time. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die. Yep, I couldn't get back to the other Doritos fast enough. I have to... so when I get the thing to spread out, I have to spread out as not far as possible. When I get the pink circle around me, I have to spread out so that when it goes away and I get the Dorito, I can quickly get back to the group. Shockwave. So the Shockwave goes over there and you want to get knocked from there onto the grate. That was awesome. I died a lot during that fight, but I think I mostly got the gist of it pretty quickly. There were a couple things like the positioning, mostly positioning, that tripped me up, but the basic mechanics I really enjoy for that fight, kind of watching where the head go and the body go. Very cool. And so now let's see this go into effect. So this is going to be, you're going to inter this thing, which stops, which like freezes the space around it. And turns it into an energy ball. Oh, that looks awesome. Yep, so you warped it back to its cell, I guess, something like that. Okay. Second fight done. That was a lot of fun. Hot Dad gets... No, unfortunately, I think I have to give it to one of the healers. They were working overtime that fight. Themis. That was a trial by fire, or water, I suppose, but I had faith we would see it through. So long as we had your stout arm, of course. Erichthonios? I knew that you were no mere mercenary, but to make such clean work of the Hippokampos, yes, that was straight out of an MTQ capture video, what I did that fight. Textbook, absolutely textbook. Seasoned fighters scarcely have occasion to visit Pandaemonium, let alone display their skills. Mastery takes all forms indeed. Needless to say, our plan worked to perfection, in no small part thanks to you two. Themis' power was more than enough to complete the interment. Spellcasting was never my strong suit, but that almost made me feel like a proper magos. Truly, having seen your abilities firsthand in your fight with Kukushu, I beg to disagree. Shackles is the one exception, and 'tis only because I've been forced to practice it since I was but a small child. Why have you been forced to practice shackling people since you were a small child? That's unfortunate. Other magics leave me feeling completely out of my depth. Regardless, seems luck is on my side to guide me to you. We may prove the impossible possible after all. We may indeed. Themis, the fires of creation. So we've dealt with water, I guess we're going to deal with fire now. Themis is pondering the road ahead. While our success in sealing away the Hippokampos is certainly heartening, the fact that we have yet to see any other warders concerns me. That's a fair concern. They might all be dead. Erichthonios, the key word of Asphodelos is nothing if not cautious. This is pissing me off. I have to check how to pronounce this. I think it's Asphodelos, but I'm not sure. I'll go with Asphodelos for now. The key word of Asphodelos is nothing if not cautious. Doubtless he has gathered what warders he could and retreated to a safe area. Let us hope so. It occurs to me that I know little of the key wards besides their magical prowess. Is there aught more you can share? Nod, nod. Is that La Habrea? No, it's not. Of course, a man named Hesperos. Hesperos was the... No, I'm thinking of Hephaestus. I don't know who Hesperos was in Greek mythology. Hesperos is in charge of Asphodelos. Not only does he have a thorough knowledge of the creatures here, but he takes great pains to be a mentor to each of the warders under his charge. He has done much to ensure that I flourished here, in spite of my ineptitude at magic, and I have always known him to be the sort of man who faces difficult decisions with unwavering composure. A stand-up dude. Furthermore, key wards are not only masters of interment, they can also bend the hallways of Pandaemonium to their will with creation magics. With all this in mind, I am certain that so long as Hesperos guides them, the other warders are safe. Unless Hesperos is betraying... I feel like someone's going to be betraying. I don't know. I can see why absolute control over the environs is imperative. Had we faced the Hippokampos upon arid sands instead of the waterways, I suspect the battle would have ended much more quickly. In any case, if this Hesperos is as capable and caring as you say, we would do well to seek him out as soon as we can. He is like as not taken your colleagues to a secure location. The safest place would be in the innermost circle of Asphodelos. From there, they could flee to Abyssos if hard-pressed. Okay, so Abyss has got to be like either the second, has got to be like the second wing of this raid, hasn't it? Even should they have sought his safe haven within the other circles, if we make for the fourth, we ought to encounter them on the way. Indeed, and we shall gain a comprehensive understanding of the situation within Asphodelos, which will be essential in determining whether we ought to continue down to Abyssos. The rub, of course, is that I myself possess no power to bend the circles to my will. Instead, we must proceed through the central corridor, which is barred by the Phoinix, last I checked. So this is the mythological predecessor to Grandpa. Phoinix, I've heard the name before. A fiery bird with life eternal. Yeah, we met a couple. The unquenchable brilliance, the perfected concept, boasts nigh boundless restorative powers, if I recall. Truly an exemplary feat of creation magic. Yeah, we met, what's the name? So we met Grandpa Phoinix and we met Thirsty Phoinix. Perfection is ever built on the back of failure, however, and La Habrea suffered countless missteps during his experiments. And he was hardly the only one. This Phoinix will be one of but many attempts at the concept gone awry. Aye, far from evoking wonder, our Phoinix is a creature of fury and wrath, and seeks only to turn the world to ash, though so it was confined within Pandaemonium. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with the Phoinix in this, like, third Phoinix fight they're bringing us. Development of the concept continued elsewhere, but as the moons turned, more and more researchers abandoned the project as an impossibility, save for La Habrea and his words. When I received word that at long last La Habrea had succeeded where so many others had failed, I was nearly overcome. Pray tell, how did the warders of Pandaemonium celebrate their master's accomplishment? I don't believe we did. The research of the words of La Habrea has little consequence to our work here, save for the rare times it charges us with a new specimen. Truth be told, I don't remember anyone making note of the occasion. Hold on a second. Themis, development of the concept continued elsewhere, but as the moons turned, more researchers abandoned the project. So La Habrea was the only person who succeeded, but they didn't really celebrate or even know about it here. So it was done in secret? Interesting. I might be misunderstanding that. Erichthonios. But then, or maybe they're just saying they were just humble about it. They were just, you know, we have to focus on our work. But enough reminiscing. We must make ready to confront the Phoinix. While it's possible that it flew off to some other wing of Pandaemonium, we would make the assumption at our own peril. Better to assume that we'll need to bring Asphodelos' most unruly subject to heel. I certainly see no reason to delay. Phoinix's power over flame will avail it far less in a barren corridor than elsewhere, so it may well serve us to subdue it sooner rather than later. Yeah, let's go. Go get him. Third circle unlocked. Oh no, we have to get there first. I love the spooky castle. I also have I've been watching the Grinding Gear Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV. I have a feeling that Garrett Weinzierl is going to love this place. You see it through the window? Yup. That's a big old yup. Well, that answers the question about Hesperos. Hesperos is either... I mean, no, not necessarily, because we were attacked by a warder, but also Hesperos just teleported us to the Phoenix's, like, best possible fighting ground. And then teleported us back. Interesting. So Hesperos, one, looks like a vampire. And And by vampire, I mean, he looks like, he's back with that same vibe that we saw against, Xenos. It took, again, my mind just takes some time. He looks like he has that same, like, Symphony of the Night, Dracula, what is a man thing going on that Xenos had in his final form. But he's not necessarily evil. Like, he could be... The fact that he looks so extra and so different means that it's possible he got possessed and transformed or something like that, the way that we saw Erichthonios saw it happen to Erichthonios. Themis. It seems whoever is behind this can alter space around us at will. We face an uphill battle. I guess none of them saw Hesperos. Impossible. If those were creation magics at work, then that means... Let us confront that reality after we have conquered the enemy in front of us. Every drop of our focus shall be required if we are to inter the Phoinix. So they're not... One of my favorite things is that the people in Final Fantasy XIV are pretty good at putting some basic puzzle pieces together. Like, they get that was... Even if whether they saw that guy or not, they get that that was a warder that did that. Okay. Unless maybe Hesperos teleported us there to fight it, and then Erichthonios and Themis used their creation magic to warp back here to safety. Erichthonios. Fight well, friend. Themis. We shall gain naught from allowing the larger implications of this distract us from the fight ahead. The Phoenix's rage will be unbridled, but I trust you are prepared for the worst. Yeah, my gear is all set. I am not nearly broken. Here we go. Asphodelos, the third circle. That was also a darker red phoenix than I think we usually saw from the look outside the window. So immediately noticing either a death wall or at least a pain wall around the place. Mythic creation, the Phoenix. Is that what's in its chest? Is that like an eye or a laser or something? A three-headed phoenix. Okay. Why have one head when you can have two? And three. Experimental fire plume. Is this going to be AoE? No. Ah, I see. So it was going to drop in the middle at the very end. Gotcha. Gotcha. Experimental fire plume. Oh. Okay. So I don't know how we could tell that was going to be in the middle. I didn't see the tell for that one. Scorched exaltation. Yeah. Darkened fire. What's darkened fire? There's 4 darkened fires. I think we probably want to kill them, right? No, we don't want to kill them. They're really hot. Oh, we do want to kill them? I didn't... I tried hitting it. It seemed like it was doing nothing. I don't know. Right cinder wing? Let's get away from its right wing. Is there going to be a left cinder wing? Where are you? Let's get away from the middle. Okay. A storm sweeps through, pouring burning rain. So I'm pretty sure we want to kill these things. Oh shit, I didn't see the second wave. I love the look of this place, just the way it's glowing, super cool. So what is that aura around them? Sustaining damage over time. I think it's from another job. So wherever they die, it drops that green thing around them. Question is, what does that mean? 2 more sunbirds. So we don't want to stack them, it looks like. And I think we might die just because we'll have to kill them, presumably, before Phoenix Fire goes off. But it doesn't do damage to us at the moment. So what are those things doing? Maybe if 2 of them are next to each other, they would resurrect. Dead Rebirth. Yeah, I'll bet that's the case. If you kill one in another circle, that probably resurrects. Or both of them probably resurrect. Fledgling Flight. Are they coming back? That's what phoenixes do, so maybe. Spark Fledged. Oh, shit. Okay. I see. Am I going to survive? Yes, I am. I am the greatest. Oh, shit. Let's drop this here. Okay. Oh, healer down. Can I res them? Yes, I can. I'm so nervous about myself and forgetting to watch for reses. Fire is consuming the field. Okay, so we can stay out of its path, but is that it? Oh, shoot, we probably shouldn't all be in the same thing. Yeah. No, not too bad. Oh, damn it. Again, I'm not seeing what the signal for that is. Okay. One wipe. Now that we've seen it, let's try to do a little bit better this next time. Oh, shit, shit, shit. Don't pull, don't pull. Don't be the person. Don't be that guy. Experimental fire plume. This is the thing where it flies up into the air, right? And there's going to be, like, it goes in order. It's like the Shiva fan thing. Yes. Nice job. Experimental fire plume. How do we know if this is going to be up in the air or in the middle or not? I don't know. I'm going to follow others out of it. Maybe this, just the one that follows it is not in the middle. Maybe that's it. That might be. We've never seen it be on the outer ring alone. How do we know which Darkened Blaze to hit? Some of them are invulnerable. I don't understand that one. I feel like I'm missing. I don't understand the Darkened Blaze mechanic. So they're invulnerable, so it's not just a matter of DPSing them down. There's some other special mechanic to do with them that I'm not seeing yet. Ah, that's so cool. Storm sweeps through, pouring burning rain. It's just so friggin' cool. Its transformation to the glowing orange. Just, I love this boss. Darkened Fire again. Still not sure on this mechanic. Oh, maybe whoever has the, I think I see. Whoever has that pulsing thing around them has to use it to blow up the Darkened Fire. I think that's it. Because I saw 4 players had that thing around them. Those players must have to have to blow up the Darkened Fire with it. Smooth as silk. That second time was no problem. Okay, that was, again, extremely cool fight. I love... What is that? Fiery eye. Is that an eyeball in its middle? I think that's an eyeball in its chest. I wonder if each of the heads has eyes or no. Probably not. I am a sucker for phoenixes. I am a sucker for phoenixes and for phoenix encounters and designs, and this was a good one. No, they have eyes. They do have eyes. They just have one big chest eye. Get locked. Get interred. Nod, nod. Just the organ and piano music here is just, it's gorgeous. Erichthonios, with that the Phoenix is shackled once more. However, there's yet the matter of this arena. Yeah, where are we? We're just outside somewhere. Themis, as you've told us, there is but one person in Asphodelos and Asphodelos. I'm never going to get that. An Asphodelos with the ability and authority to wield such magics. Though fortunately, it appears he has saved us the trouble of finding him. Oh, is Hesperos here? I don't see him. A contemptible display, as befits an inferior specimen. I don't know what voice he should have. What is an inferior specimen? Even so, I expected it would at least delay your advance. Imagine my surprise when I saw the chains of interment drag the Phoenix back to its cage. Either the bird is more of a failure than its creators cared to admit, or you are no mean trespassers. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a fight right now. Or maybe it is. Themis. Maybe it's going to be even the final fight of this area. Maybe I assumed it was going to be a fourth monster, but maybe the fourth raid of this wing, the fourth boss of this wing is just going to be Hesperos. Themis. I had hoped our suspicions were misplaced, but alas. Look at this Dracula mother. Oh my god. Keyword Hesperos, but why? Why have you brought such chaos to your beloved Pandaemonium? Pandaemonium, pitiless, impenetrable, and utterly steadfast, unlike those charged with its keeping. Assuming he's not possessed, and he may well not be, but, I mean, we still don't quite know why Erichthonios was out of his mind, right? Why, like, he was not himself. What has possessed you? I don't understand. Oh, Erichthonios, must you pester me with these inane questions? Think for yourself. Surely you can muster a theory or two at that dim wit of yours. Then again, you have never been one for insight. Why Master La Habrea suffers your mediocrity I shall never understand. He even has fangs like a vampire. You may look like him, but you're not the Hesperos I knew. Something has warped you too, from the inside out. Yeah, that's my current theory. I think that's most likely. The keyword I knew had compassion for all those under his charge, be they clad in robes or shackled in chains. Was that all a farce? Did you hide your contempt for us all these years? I mean, maybe. This is a really sudden turn, if so. Hesperos, those who are content to merely glimpse the water's surface are doomed to be dragged into its depths. You prove my opinion of you with every word. My mind is clearer than it has ever been. Even now, seeing you feebly grasp for answers makes the bile rise in my throat. He has friggin' vampire fangs. He's a straight-up vampire. Such wasted potential to be son to La Habrea. Erichthonios is La Habrea's son? Holy crap. Yet no more skilled with magic than a newborn babe. Well, that's a twist. But of course, it's always about Wait, did he not know he was La Habrea's son? Sounds like he didn't. Or maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe I misread that. Silence! You are not worthy to utter his name. So Hesperos is a La Habrea acolyte. For once be grateful to witness a feat beyond your meager abilities, beyond your shallow reckoning. I have slipped the surly bonds of mortality. I have become one with our mythic creations, and rid myself of imperfections. I stand upon the threshold of godhood. As a Hemitheos. So I know Hemi is blood. Theos, god, like as a blood god. As a Hemitheos shall I serve Master La Brea, ever faithful unto the end of days. Well, I don't hear of you in the future, so probably not. Are you interring us? What's happening? And he shall require no other. Themis, I think not. Oh, look at that! He broke it! He broke the little seal that was going around us. Are you so blinded by arrogance that you have lost sight of what it means to serve? Erichthonios is more capable than you could ever know. It was thanks to his instruction that I was able to master the art of interment, both how to wield it and how to break free of it. And what is a potato? A miserable little pile of spuds. Kokushu, let us quit this place. Whatever poison has corrupted Hesperos' mind, it is plain his power far eclipses our own. We must have time to gather our strength. You're just gonna warp out of here? I guess so, yeah. Themis has got some game. Weaklings though they may be, it takes a singular aptitude to master interment so quickly. To say nothing of how swiftly that familiar lay low the Phoinix. Regardless, their noble aims will be their undoing, where they fritter away their strength in calming the beasts of Asphodelos. Asphodelos. I continue my work. Even should they survive long enough to reach the heart of my domain, naught shall await them but doom. I love Hesperos. He is so over the top. I don't think it's just the way I'm voicing him. Just look at his design. He's designed to be over the top. I eagerly await your arrival, Erichthonios. So we're not fighting him right now. It seems like he will be saved for a later boss. Not necessarily the final boss. He might be at the end of Abyssos, and then there might be a twist going into the third series. I eagerly await your arrival, Erichthonios. Even dullards have their uses. Mwahaha! That was the mwahaha was understood. It was a silent mwahaha. It was implied. Themis, my darkest suspicions have been realized. We face the keyword of Asphodelos. Asphodelos himself. More than that revelation, however, Erichthonios worries me. He loved Hesperos for his compassion, but received naught but scorn from whatever the keyword has become. I still don't believe that Erichthonios is such a bad judge of character that, like, I don't think this was a case of Hesperos hiding his true nature all this time and only now revealing himself in that like garb. I think he was taken over. I don't think he's totally himself right now. He has said little since our return. I only hope that the shock of recent events does not prove to be a death knell for his resolve. I don't think it will be. How you doing, Erichthonios? Please, leave me be. Understandable. Themis, who wards the warders? Themis would offer what comfort he can to Erichthonios. Much as I am loath to disturb Erichthonios so soon after what has just occurred, I am afraid circumstances do not afford us the luxury of time. Perhaps it will do him well to speak about recent events concerning both the keyword and his father. If I had to put money on it, I would probably bet that La Brea is going to be the final boss of the raid. But I wouldn't put that much money on it. He seemed reticent to say aught concerning La Brea when the subject was broached. Doubtless his relationship with his father is a fraught one. Okay, so it was not a secret. He was just bringing it up. It wasn't meant to be a bomb he was dropping. Erichthonios. Creation of the ward which surrounds Pandaemonium was an astounding feat of magical prowess. A feat accomplished by none other than La Habrea. Both my father and I can bind others in chains is perhaps the only thing we have in common. Ah, so it is true. So it's true, but it's not it's not like a surprise to Erichthonios, but it's also not like widely known. I'm La Habrea's son, bereft of his talent for magics or his brilliant mind, but his son nonetheless. Surely this doesn't come entirely as a surprise to you. Nay, I had an inkling when you said you had practiced ethereal shackles since childhood. Assuming you haven't been employed here quite that long, it had to indicate some long-held connection with La Habrea. Smart Themis. That didn't occur to me at all. It was La Habrea taught me how to cast ethereal shackles, but that was it. My further education was overseen by the words of La Habrea, more specifically my mother, who was a researcher there. Okay. You did speak of Athena, chief warder before La Habrea. She is your mother, yes? Aho! The plot thickens. That face. How astute. I can see now why you were chosen to lead this investigation. You've the right of it. Athena was my mother, and it was she who invited me to join her here. La Habrea had nothing to do with it. I do feel some empathy for him right now. Not in a lot of ways, in that, like, my father is far smarter and far more accomplished than I am, but my father is also super supportive and loving and great. So it's not quite the same, but yeah. I see there is little love lost between you two. What I cannot see is why La Habrea was appointed chief keyword when another was already in place. That's right. It's not like they retire after 60 or anything. Was in place. My mother is no longer with us. Was she killed by one of the things she was guarding? And La Habrea was all too eager to assume her responsibilities, with nary a moment spared to mourn her. What love do I owe him now when he offered not one drop of compassion then? I'm feeling less and less certain that La Habrea will be a boss here. Ah, I see. She is no longer with us. An expression to convey the end of a life. That's right. We're in a Greek place. It's a Greek-themed place. It's only right that we introduce the term euphemism here. I have known only the public face of La Habrea. While he is lauded for his ability to maintain composure in the face of unnerving circumstances, I must admit that oft he comes across as cold. Sounds like that's not an act. Apologies, but can we speak of something else? This topic isn't an easy one for me to discuss. Yep, totally understandable, no worries. Of course, there are more pressing matters at hand. After all, namely how to deal with Hesperos. We have yet to see the other warders. Judging by what we know, we can surmise that Hesperos has confined them somewhere beyond our grasp. And now that he is aware of our presence, he will be preparing for our next encounter. We cannot expect to face him on equal footing, quite the opposite, in fact. Every moment we spend chasing after the creations is another moment Hesperos can contrive to another Maybe we are fighting Hesperos now, yes! We can contrive another advantage for himself. The wisest course would be to find him first and foremost. Alright, so we're doing this. It is said that he has become one with the creations. Perhaps that means he is vulnerable to interment? Excuse me. What? Speaking of interring and being a key warder for beasts. Ugh. Okay, anyway. He's a good cat. Erichthonios. Yeah, so he said... he probably is vulnerable to interment. In theory, that should be possible. However, is it enough to merely confine him? After all he has done, I think that's enough, because I think if we beat him, he's going to come back into, like, Etherean mode. I need to know why. I need to know what drove him to forsake everything he's worked for. Was it all truly so he could serve his master? To my mind, he's merely put La Habrea's own work at risk in trade for some nebulous power. Yeah, it's very strange. La Habrea is the chief keyword of Pandaemonium. How would throwing it into disarray win his favor? It doesn't make any sense. That is a possibility that... Well, I mean, if La Habrea is behind this, then how would throwing it in? I don't know enough about what's going on here to make any real educated guesses beyond, like, the meta, who will be the coolest villain sort of thing. I share your curiosity, but we must consider that our enemy has us at a disadvantage in every sense. What do you think? Should we seek to put him in fetters, or would it be too dangerous to allow him quarter? No, fetters. I want answers too. If you fail to confine him, I can always strike him down. Now let's do fetter. Let's try for fetters. Daring as ever, I say. I see. I know not which trials you have faced in your past, many trials. But to see you so certain is all the convincing I need. Very well, let us try Erichthonios' plan. Thank you, Kukushu. You're quite welcome. I believe I can shed some light on the nature of our foe. When Hesperos spoke to us, I noticed he bore the telltale fangs of the Ricolakus, a beast which feeds off the ether of its prey. Yep. Ricolakus. I wonder if that has any common terms with, like, Vrykul. Like that is the creation Hesperos merged his essence with. Likely that is the creation Hesperos merged his essence with. Ah, okay. And we know all too well that he can change the environment around himself at will. The battle will not be an easy one, but I believe in our victory. Yeah, punch the hand. Here we go. I can't get over how friggin' cool this environment is. It's so cool. It's so cool. The perpetrator of the chaos in Asphodelos, I got it, is revealed to be none other than its keyword, Hesperos. Once known for his kindness to both warders and captives alike, he now appears to you as an amalgamation of mythic beast and man, a Hematheus. Drunk with devotion to La Habrea and dripping venom for Erichthonios. Asphodelos' keeper may too be its most fearsome creation. Location: the Sanguine Limbo. Boy, is that a cool name. Asphodelos, the fourth circle. Here we go. As cool as this is, it still has nothing on Alpha leaping up and doing his, like, quah thing. Hematheus, Hesperos. What is the full measure of a Hematheus? Elegant evisceration. Listen to this music. Listen to this utter banger of a track. There is but one master in Asphodelos. There's a carpet setting the scene. Look at this theatrical place. The curtain rises. These halls are my domain. Why are we going over here? No idea. Ah, I see. So the thing in the middle has a very quick proximity eruption. Decollation. What's decolletage? Decolletage, I don't know I've seen it written, but I've never heard it spelled out. It's like a craft of some sort, right? Everyone's here. Why is everyone here now? No idea, but I'm going to stay with everyone. How did you know it was going to be that? How did you know it was going to be a pushback? What's the signal, I wonder? Hell Skewer, so don't be in front of him when he does Hell Skewer. You insist upon this folly, you must face the full extent of my authority. Okay, everyone's staying here. It seems like a bad idea to stay there. So the white is... What's the... So blue pulls in, white does... So blue, white, and green, what do they do differently? White pulls up. This is going to do a pushback, I guess? Hell Skewer, we don't want to be in that. What does the sinkhole do? Is this going to... Is it something about the way it's swirling that tells us whether it's going to pull or push or be proximity or not? I don't understand that. Shall feast upon your ether blood rake. This is the AoE? We haven't had an AoE yet. Hesperos' Balone. Okay, Balone coils. Your ether turns and shall be you, and it shall by you be undone. So let's go to the DPS one, maybe? Oh, no, maybe that means no DPS? I'm going to risk it that means DPS. Nope, I was wrong. Okay, so that means anyone but DPS. Gotcha. I thought it was just such a unusual thing that I didn't trust myself when I recognized it. Scurry vermin, ere my blade finds your bellies. Easterly shift. So the blade's going to stab to the east? Yes. I thought it was going to be a straight line. I didn't think it would be a frontal cone, though. This chlamys is no mere affectation, I assure you. I don't know what chlamys is. Maybe accent or westerly shift? Everyone's standing in front of it. Oh, because it's closed, maybe? So if it's closed, that's one thing. Easterly shift. It's pointing to the left, I think. No, I don't know what way it's pointing. Yeah, so I don't know how to tell if it's going to be a knockback or a frontal cone yet. Blood rake. Balloon bursts. Oh, do we have to... We have to kite it away and someone else pops our bubble. Gotcha. A rat is in mazes amusing at first, but still a rat. Vermin to be disposed of. Okay. This is the ultimate test of something I have no idea about or no understanding of. Is it something about when the curtain comes up, like what appears in its place? Blood rake. Pinax. Alright, so let's see if we can... We're not going to understand it yet. So the poison blasts up. And now this person's going near the poison. So is the poison area safe? Hell Skewer. Now this thing is sucking in or something, pushing back. But now I'm in the poison area, and I got nothing. I have no idea what's going on with this mechanic. Alright, so let's stay here. Because we're not a tank. So we should be safe, right? Oh, and I'm gonna die. Yep. I don't understand. Yeah, it's just not clicking. Whatever they're trying to show me about that mechanic is just not clicking. Most of the mechanics in this in these bosses so far I've been able to understand after getting hit once or twice at the most, but this one is just it just is eluding me. Oh, it can't be hit by a... I gotcha. It can't be hit by a... I like the can't be hit by a DPS or can't be hit by a healer sort of thing. So this is going to be a... Yeah, that's... I thought that was going to be... I have no... So that's the other thing. I have no idea how to tell whether it's going to be a frontal cone or whether it's just going to be a knockback. It's got to be like easterly is one, westerly is another, something like that. Or maybe the direction he holds his cape up is the thing that indicates, like if he holds the left cape, it's a frontal cone. If he holds the right cape, it's the other one. And this, again, I have no clue about this one. That's frustrating. Was it something about that Reaper-esque thing that he's got going on that says kind of what it was, like where to stand or whatnot? Maybe. All I can do at this point is just stand with people and hope it ends up being right. The balloon is poisoning the ether it absorbed. So the balloon has got to be like the little Reaper buddy that... Oh, because now we have to hide behind this fire rock thing? That must be it. Achievement could be worse. I sort of am starting to get it, but I still don't... Yeah, it's still just the specifics of how to handle the setting the stage thing are definitely elude me. Okay. We were able to muddle through it enough to not die too much. Which is okay. Okay. Pandaemonium Asphodelos is complete. Oh, hey, I got the Nosferatu minion. The music there was, again, perfect for the setting. It was unexpected. I thought they were going to go with something more like organs and all that, but no, it was so good. So good. Erichthonios. Now, Themis, we end this here. I doubt it. Or maybe we will? Hesperos. Fools, I will not be put in chains. Yeah, that makes sense. To think I would fall before one such as you. Perhaps I should have treated you as more than a mere nuisance. Despite your victory, you shall never have the knowledge you seek. The secrets of my transformation, of my deception, they shall return to the star with me. Ah, you're not going to be in prison. You're going to try to off yourself. You're wasting your breath, Hesperos. We have the upper hand now. Surely you can see that. He says he wants to return to the star. Yeah. Yes, my repertoire is not exhausted yet, however. Although I have failed, my end shall be on my own terms. You're gonna impale yourself, aren't you? I remain loyal to my very last. Come what may, I die with dignity. You die with elegance, at least. And you fade away. Very interesting. I really thought that he was going to transform back into a person. Into like a full person. How did your ambition lead you so astray, Hesperos? You were better than that. Your star shone more brightly than any other in Pandaemonium. You had La Habrea's respect, his trust. What more did you seek? That you would forsake all that and sully your legacy besides. Puzzles on top of puzzles here. He became so blinded by his own desires that he lost sight of his duty. In the end, he lost everything, and his plans lie in tatters. I fail to see any dignity in that. If I'm right and Themis is actually the person we know in the future as Elidibus, boy, does this sentence ring boy, does it hit differently. I guess Themis never became blinded by his own desires, but the whole, in the end, he lost everything, his plans lie in tatters. I fail to see the idea of dying without dignity. I guess it doesn't hit that different, but Erichthonios. Even so, I would have liked to know why he chose this path. Hey, he died to protect that secret. Or just to protect being entrapped. Hesperos' infatuation with your father was his undoing. Perhaps he was jealous fate had chosen you and not him to be La Habrea's son. So terrible did this jealousy become that he sought verboten power. Power La Habrea would be unable to ignore. How does a pursuit for respect warp one's heart so? How does infatuation with one person turn into contempt for everyone else? Never heard of such a thing. It's not as uncommon as you might think. It happens, but doesn't mean it's right. Yeah, it's not uncommon. I see. I hear your words of wisdom. I admit I cannot but find it vexing. But perhaps that signifies naught but my own capacity for bitterness. Look at the stained glass things appearing all around. Those are gorgeous. An unexpected spot of color. I do understand what it is to have a beacon to follow in dark times, a person you trust to guide you true. How it is to desperately wish their light would fall upon you again. Yeah, you do understand that. But we have spent enough time assuming the intentions of the departed. They are the living to consider. We must find the other warders and round up the remaining creations forthwith, or of that at least we can be certain. It should take about 3.5 months to well, no, probably about, was it 7 months really between when this was first released for the next raid? Themis, of that I believe I can be of help in that matter. The influence of Hesperos' magic is fading throughout Asphodelos. Now is the perfect opportunity to seize the control of the facilities and restore things to their original state. Seize control? Can you really do that? Yeah, Themis is powerful AF, as kids who are decades younger than me say. Or would once say. Themis, what is this presence? Erichthonios, what lies beyond that threshold? That's the passage which connects Asphodelos to Abyssos. Why? Be on your guard, you two. Ah, okay. Now that I guess they did say about the beast hungers. I don't know when that was. Because that was clearly said after the events that we're in right now, unless Themis is different from the person we heard speak that I thought was Elidibus. Now that Asphodelos is free of obstructions, I can more easily sense disturbances in the lower levels. Something stirs in Abyssos. Abyssos? Oh, that's Abyssos, all right. A warding sigil? How? Let us return to the gates for now. I should like to apprise the situation from there. Needless to say, our investigation is far from over. Yeah, this is very interesting. And I don't... recognize that sigil to... I think if it meant, like, if that was La Habrea's key, like, signature sigil, I think they would have noticed. So I don't think it's that. Erichthonios. Just when I thought our work to be done. Did this tragedy unfold all throughout Pandaemonium? It sounds like it. Though we have defeated Hesperos, it appears we have but scratched the surface of Pandaemonium's troubles. My head is still swimming with questions, but could this mean that Hesperos wasn't actually behind this? Yeah, he is definitely not the final boss. It is a stark possibility, yes. The root of this crisis may lie somewhere much deeper than even Abyssos. When we first encountered you, you said the memories of your escape were vague and that your senses were muddled. I believe this was more than the result of a panicked mind. You were made to feel this way by a powerful magical influence. It is possible that this same magic could have poisoned Hesperos' heart, twisting his affection for La Habrea into a burning obsession. That's right, and he twisted your desire to be a good guard into being that, like, super evil jailer type. So yeah, that seems to be that power. That's a commonality there. And in his altered state, he was made an offer of power he could not refuse. Wait, are you suggesting that someone else turned Hesperos into that thing? That was my thought. If so, it stands to reason they wouldn't stop at him. I think they're going for La Habrea, like a twisted La Habrea. Indeed, our mysterious mastermind does not lack for subjects for his experiments, for more potential hemitheoi. If what you're saying is true, then my colleagues, they're doomed to share the same fate as Hesperos. Do not lose heart yet, Erichthonios. Hesperos challenged us alone, and that tells me that the process of his creation was a long and taxing one. If he was the first Hemitheus, then the rest of the warders are likely still alive. However much as I would like to hasten deeper into Pandaemonium, the way forward is sealed off. We must focus our efforts on finding a way through. With the creation still having free reign in Asphodelos, that won't be easy. On the contrary, I yet retain control of these circles, and thus can wield interment magic within their halls at will. The creatures will pose no threat to us. Just like that. Then nothing's stopping us from returning order to Asphodelos. Nice job. Go team. Just so. I shall require your expertise to keep the peace after the subjects have been returned to their confinement, however. You are Asphodelos' sole remaining warder, after all. Truth be told, I did not expect this investigation to become so involved. Of course, I would like to resolve matters here without resorting to outside help, but... You mean to send a report to La Habrea? That's the question. It's too soon to say. Let us first find our way into Abyssos. It would be best to withhold our judgment until we have ascertained the whereabouts of the other warders and the identity of the party responsible for their disappearance. Agreed. Even so, if it means saving even a single life within Pandaemonium, then I'm not above asking La Habrea for help. You should have come to that. He still doesn't want to. Recent discoveries. Excuse me, it's very late. Recent discoveries certainly paint Hesperos' actions in a new light. The number of unknown elements in this investigation grows, and we must proceed forward with the utmost caution. I wonder if you suspect La Habrea. To that end, Erichthonios and I shall remain here for the time being. Much as I enjoy your company, I do not believe we shall be needing protection so long as we remain in Asphodelos. You should take this time to rest. Surely you are weary, and there may be more battles ahead of us. Demas' burden may grow heavier in your absence, but he's shown he's more than capable to bear it. Still, I would help wheresoever I'm able. All we've achieved so far has been thanks to you two, and I mean to repay the debt I owe. I don't know what use I can be outside of placating the creatures, but I'll find a way. I like this too. I don't ship it, but I like them as they're a cool friendship pair. Nonsense, you owe us nothing. It was thanks to your knowledge of the magics which govern this place that we were able to come this far. Elsewise, we would have likely succumbed to the Hippocampus' assault. Each of us has arrived at this dire pass by separate paths, but it is only by combining our respective expertise that we will reach the end of it and see Pandaemonium saved. Yeah, we got this. Thank you, Themis. Hesperos' words seem to have affected me more than I realize. Together we've come this far, and together we'll reach the end. I have no doubt we will. Even so, let us allow Kakushu her rest. Besides, you have someone awaiting a report on your progress, yes? Oh, I forgot about them. I dare say your story will be much more than they ever imagined. Mm-hmm. Themis. My friend would be very curious to hear what has occurred here. However, I fear that if I left Pandaemonium, the wards protecting it would quickly deteriorate. I hope she does not mind assuming some of my duties in the meantime. Are we going to see your friend? Again, I assume her friend is... We haven't met that. I guess it could be Vana, it could be Gaia. Or, well, I forgot what Gaia's Ascian name was, but it could be that, or it could be... Yeah, it could be anyone. Erichthonios. Ah, so you don't serve the convocation. I suppose I needn't worry about you going behind our backs to curry favor with La Habrea. You do not. And we're here at Aporia. Rusino. Professor Claudien has tasked me with recording the ethereal signatures of each and every crystal in his recent orders. As a lowly assistant, I'm honored to be given such an enormous and monumental assignment. That's optimistic. Nemgigi. At the professor's behest, we have kept our reports on recent events as vague as we can manage. Even if we wish to do otherwise, not much of note has transpired here as of late. Let's turn this in. Welcome back, Kakushu. Back from the past, none the worse for wear, I see. So what did you find? Boy, do I have a story. Like a devil on my shoulder. So there is evil afoot in Pandaemonium, an already ominous place, I must say. Mythic beasts, missing warders. Truly, we are fortunate to see you return to us in one piece. It appears the voice Kakushu heard from the crystal spoke the truth. As for who left it behind and why, those are yet questions to be answered. Claudien. Indeed, it could be someone who lived among the ancients, or it could be someone trying to avert a tragedy from the future. Much remains shrouded in mystery. Yet ilm by ilm we shall unveil that mystery. With the help of Kakushu, of course. By her actions were the fabric of the past reshaped, yet she returns to us to the same present she left. Which can only mean one thing, that her intervention in the Pandaemonium's crisis is but one of the countless building blocks of history upon which our present has been built. That's the theme of this expansion too, isn't it? There is no telling what consequences would arise if we stopped pursuing this matter now. Whatever plot is unraveling within Pandaemonium, we must not let it reach its conclusion. If one of those creatures should escape, what ripples would carry forth to the future? They might wreak havoc upon the world of the ancients, and their despair would leave an indelible mark upon history's pages. But doesn't the fact that it hasn't mean that we're safe? Like, even if I just do nothing and go to sleep and never ignore this, doesn't that mean that the future where I go to sleep and ignore it is the future that, like, resulted from me leaving it alone? I don't know. Probably. I don't think it's that timey-wimey. Maybe, I don't know. They might, okay, they might wreak havoc. Okay, that despair would only feed, yeah. Give you the terrible despair of the terrible birth that arose during the final days. The first final days already Rusino. The first final days already had a drastic effect on the eons that followed. If the scars it left were made even deeper, then we risk losing our present entirely. Again, just my nose is constantly itchy tonight, and often. Maybe it's the cat hair flying around. Yeah, I'm blaming you. Dude. Whatever the cost, our connection with the future of Elpis must be preserved. I know I've asked much of you already, but can I count on you to continue your work in Pandaemonium? Dude, what do you... Your tireless efforts are much appreciated. If there is all we can do to ease your burden, you need only say the word. Speaking of which, might you return the crystal into our keeping? While we cannot accompany you to the past, perhaps something can be gained by researching it further. Yeah, here's the crystal. I honestly I forgot that I still had it. I thought that I'd given it to Themis. Or but he took it and he gave it back. Ah, it shines just as splendidly as the day we met. We shall begin work right away, but I cannot promise any meaningful results for some time. And as matters in Elpis seem to be in a similar state, I must ask that you rest. But before that, allow me to make an introduction. As our research moves into the critical stage, I found it only suitable to recruit another assistant. Oh. Milene. Milene? Milene is an expert in armaments from throughout history, be they from the far-flung past or made in the most modern forges. Should you find aught of interest in your adventures, bring... Oh, you're who I turned the quest stuff in, the tokens to. Bring it here and she'll be glad to offer her services. We know researchers in numerous fields that would love to get their hands on artifacts from bygone eras and would give you goods in return that should aid you in trials ahead. Wonderful. Furthermore, if you ever wish to peruse the records of events you have reported here, Nemgigi has been taking faithful and thorough notes. She is at your complete disposal. The curtsy. The Lala curtsy. I sense that we have embarked upon something monumental, something that will dwarf all else I have accomplished in my many, many years of research. I can think of no greater honor nor reassurance than to have your capable assistance in this endeavor. If there is anything to be found that will contribute to your success, we shall find it. We shall not rest until we have unlocked the mysteries of this crystal, and you will be the first to know when we do. Alright, Team Present Day is pumped up. Team Past is watching Pandaemonium closely. I don't know. Spell speed, I guess, sure. Okay. I've done, like, no research into what are good melds, just because I'm not doing extremes or savages, and I don't know. MGG, you have something else for me? That's unexpected. Kukushu, allow me to thank you personally for your contribution to our research. Your stories of the ancients' creations have... Oh, this has got to be the savage. Okay. Seeds of a great many theories, and I kind of wait for them to flourish. Okay. Yeah, so this is just going to be the savage thing where I cannot imagine I will do savage. Professor Claudien has asked me to write detailed records of your investigation. If you wouldn't mind staying for a while, stay a while and recount your tales. I would ask you to tell me more of your adventures in the past. Adventures that started out with that mysterious crystal seemingly containing a message declaring a crisis in this Pandaemonium. Of course, Professor Claudien will eventually make a report, but we are deficient on concrete facts at present. To that end, I have a comprehensive catalog of the beasts you encountered in Asphodelos. In the Asphodelos circles would be a fine starting point. Yes, I require every gory detail, every hair-raising description. Alright, let's embellish it and make the fight as hard as possible, apparently. Rusino. Nemgigi, I've brought the volumes you asked for, but are you quite certain we need all of this just to research the crystals? Some of these, habitats of aquatic life forms, myths and folklore of the Phoinix, for example, seem to have little bearing on the subject. In fact, many of these tomes seem to be related to the creatures of Pandaemonium, Kakushu spoke up. Yep, so Nemgigi is procrastinating your other task. Surely we have better things to do with our time. Kakushu has already encountered and subdued them, so what use could further insight offer? On the contrary, Rusino, we would be remiss in our duty as academics not to take every opportunity to learn more of these subjects. To view the creatures of bygone times through the lens of modern science is a dream so few have the chance to achieve. I really like Nemgigi. Of course, I'll not deny a personal interest in the matter. Rusino, as I thought, while there were enough relevant volumes for me to fulfill your request this once, if you wish to sate your appetite for knowledge again, might you do so on your own time? Nemgigi is a sassy potato. Shall we proceed? Now, tell me everything you remember, and please spare not a single detail. I don't easily frighten you, may be assured. We might start with your battle with this transformed warder, Erichthonios, was it? I would also like to hear of the key ward and the nature of his metamorphosis. Good, good. Thank you for this priceless information. While I'm disappointed I couldn't behold your foes with my own eyes, your stories have given me more than enough to write sufficiently thorough descriptions. Perhaps we should also include basic theories concerning the growth and behavior of these creatures. It would give our little catalog some flavor, wouldn't you agree? We could start with... I have it! Aquatic life forms in our time have been observed to grow to sizes that are orders of magnitude larger than their larval forms. In fact, it may not be so preposterous to posit that the hippocampus you encountered was merely the larval form of a much more massive and, dare I say, horrific entity. Yeah, this is... I don't know how good a scientist you are or a historian. I don't trust you. I like you, but I don't trust you for writing accuracy. Nemgigi. Now, don't look at me like I'm some mad magus. Breakthroughs have always been precipitated by even wilder theories than that. As the professor always said, we mustn't let logic stand in the way of brilliance. Until proven one way or the other, every hypothesis is valid. There's nothing quite like the ambrosia of inspiration. Sure. Are we making records or creating fairy tales? Your idea... No, you know what? I'm supporting this. Your ideas are intriguing to me. So long as I make a note in the margins of my records indicating that a theory is unproven, we can let our imaginations run wild. Yes, I said our. You needn't be a researcher to have an idea that will leave its mark for generations. She's so excited. Yeah, we're not doing this. Like, I've never... The last time I raided in any serious, super hardcore way was World of Warcraft Legion for the first tier. Or last tier? No, no, it wasn't even that. It was the last tier of Warlords of Draenor, which was a while back. So, before we wrap up, there's one more thing I forgot to do, which is take a look at the new minion I got. So this is Nosferatu. Nothing if not gentlemanly and perhaps bloodthirsty. Nosferatu, though understood to refer to vampires, the word Nosferatu has an uncertain origin, and the same may be said of this bat-like creature. However, from the fact that it appears to be wearing a dinner suit and won't drink your blood without permission, it is clearly a gentlemanly sort. Aren't bats just the cutest little plague bearers you ever did see? Bat enthusiasts. Have you ever seen a bat wrapped up in a blanket eating a banana? Bats are amazing. Even if it looks like this particular bat would use a fork and knife to eat its banana. Let's see what you do. If anything. Ah, you look so cool. Yeah, you got like a little suit on. Oh, you like wrap yourself up and then like do a dramatic like wing opening. Yep, so that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and you wanted to leave a like and subscription, it would be much appreciated if you want to see more. Have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.